Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at a parts list that I've thrown together. This is one that I use at work all the time, and is actually kind of my favorite right now. In terms of everything here, I really like this motherboard. It's a really solid board. We've used hundreds of these, haven't really had any issues. The one downside to this parts list really is that this CPU, you might have to update your BIOS before you can use the CPU. There is a BIOS flashback on this board. I usually just throw a different CPU in there and then do it, but as far as I know, that works. And then this cooler is really good. It's thicker, so if you guys wanted to do something like a case swap here, I'd probably stick with either this 207 or the 216 when that's back in stock. But this 207 is a great value. It's not too bad to build, and if it's like your first build. And yeah, I really like that case. And it fits this Arctic just fine. If you guys don't know, this Arctic is a little thicker, the radiator. But yeah, next up we got this memory. It's nothing crazy. It's pretty solid. I mean, I've used this exact combo with this motherboard and memory, and usually a 5600G, and we'll do like an office PC. But I've used the 5700X3 plenty of times with that as well, and it works fine. It's nothing crazy. Then we have this NVMe. I find this to be pretty good value for price performance, and it's on a decent sale right now, so you could look around. That's pretty interchangeable, I'd say. Something that I'd say is not interchangeable are these power supplies. They go on sale every now and then there's also the white version, which I think is cheaper right now. It's a tiny bit cheaper. But yeah, no difference in the actual power supply, like unit and quality. I would go with this power supply. If you want to do like 1000 watt, you can do that. If you want to just carry it into the future more, they have a 10-year warranty. They're really solid. There's really nothing I have to say bad about these power supplies. We've carried so many of them at my work, and they work great. They have the direct PCIe 600 watt cable, so basically you can plug it straight into a high-end 40 series card. Now you might notice there's not a GPU on this list, and yeah, right now it's kind of tough to get a GPU. It looks like the let's see, where was it? The 4070 Super is kind of back in stock. This is one of my favorite models just because with the 40 series, it doesn't really matter which add-in board partner you go with. Most of them are pretty equivalent in performance. There's no like pack leader this time around with the 40 series, so hoping it'll stay that way. I actually kind of like it that way. And none of the cards that I've seen have had real inherent flaws, because as far as I know, all that the add-in board partners control is the power delivery, the VBIOS, obviously the cooling, but they don't get too much say in anything else from what I understand. So anyway, this is a pretty good value, 610. The only downside is like shipping on these, but it's kind of like that on everything. And Newegg's almost looks like they're completely out of stock on cards, really. But you could go with something like an AMD card, which seemed actually to be in stock. It's just NVIDIA ones that are kind of a little harder to source right now. But yeah, 7800 XTD is pretty close to 4070 Super. I just personally like NVIDIA drivers better if you're working with like AutoCAD, if you're working with Adobe products. If you need the CUDA acceleration, then I'd stick with NVIDIA. But yeah, beyond that, there's a pretty good parts list, 715 without a GPU. And yeah, you can just get a Windows key from like G2A for like 14, 13 bucks. Just get a 10 home key, and you should be cheating. But yeah,